Mamaroneck Village Zoning Board denies 2 properties the right to build and expand.
Some cold medication may be hazardous to your health.
Students are learning their own secret language at Daniel Warren Elementary School.
Can you believe there may be a tax cut in our future?
We have an IKEA update, and seniors, listen up. Friday just might be your day to play golf. Those stories and more coming up right here on this edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
Welcome to the Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News Show for the week of Thanksgiving, November 2000. I'm Sven Oehmer.
And I'm Alicia Myro. Our top story.
This year's election day was about 2 weeks ago. While the presidential elections turned into a long and heatedly discussed matter, most local elections offered very clear results. And here's a brief overview of those results. In the race for the 18th district for the House of Representatives, Republican John Vongels lost to incumbent Democrat Nita Lowey, who was able to secure a big lead. State Senator Susie Oppenheim, a Democrat, was elected to another term, her 9th, in the State Senate by 96% of the votes. And similar results were reported for State Assembly member Democrat Ronald Tochi, who received 96% of the votes too. In the town, Democrat Nancy Seligson was elected after running unopposed for the town board. In the judicial races, former Westchester County Executive Andrew P. O'Rourke was successful in his bid for a seat on the state Supreme Court. In the race for an open seat on the Westchester County Court, Democrat Lester Adler was also successful. Republican incumbent Albert J. Emanueli lost to Democrat Anthony A. Scapino, Jr. in the race for Westchester Circuit Court. A big change took place in Mamaroneck on Election Day. The Republicans Martha Sokol-McCarty, Philip Trefiletti, and Michael Sudano lost their seats to 3 Democrats, Guy Siriga, Casey Savold, and Pete McConnell. The village board is now completely controlled by the Democrats. Republican Village Justice Roger Sirlin, who was running unopposed, was elected to a 6 4-year term.
Well, the Westchester County Planning Department said the draft environmental impact study of the IKEA furniture store proposed for New Rochelle underestimates the impact of the traffic on nearby neighborhoods. Traffic estimates were based on the IKEA store in Elizabeth, New Jersey, and then shrunk down to match the size of the store proposed for New Rochelle. Tim Miller, whose firm, Tim Miller Associates, prepared the draft environmental study for IKEA, said it is standard for traffic experts to use the size of the store to help estimate the number of cars that will travel there. The County Planning Board also cited the environmental study's failure to provide enough detail on how to treat the stormwater that would run off the roof and parking lots. Well, more than 400 local residents packed the Murray Avenue School auditorium last week to protest the plan to build the IKEA store. Neighborhood leaders said the traffic would increase noise, congestion, accidents, pollution, and ruin the suburban character of our area. Many of you may have tuned into LMC TV's broadcast on Channel 72 of New Rochelle's public hearing regarding the IKEA proposal. The hearing elicited many reactions regarding the draft environmental impact study, or draft EIS, mostly negative. IKEA wants to build a 2-story, 308,000 square foot furniture store and about 1,500 parking spaces south of Fifth Avenue on the Mamaroneck border. In order for IKEA to build the store, the 15-acre site across from City Park must be cleared of its existing businesses and homes. IKEA has already bought up much of the neighborhood, and the city is considering using eminent domain to seize property whose owners do not willingly sell. The debate continues, and we will continue to bring you up to date on the latest details.
Westchester County Executive Andrew Spano last week released a budget for 2001 with the largest tax cut in county history. The $1.2 billion budget reduces the tax levy by $17 million or 4.8%. It is also the first time that taxes would be reduced 3 years in a row. If the budget is adopted, the Spano administration will have slashed the tax levy a total of 7.2% or $26.1 million since 1998. The 7.2% decrease will have been achieved despite a loss of $55.9 million in state and federal funds, as well as increased mandates. Without these cost shifts, Spano would have reduced taxes by 22%. Spano said, quote, "I promised to reduce taxes, and I have done that despite an increased burden from the state and federal governments of almost 55 million. At the same time, we are investing in the future of our seniors, our children, and our environment. We've accomplished all this while securing our long-term financial stability." End of quote. In addition to reducing taxes, the budget holds the line on bus fares and proposes no reductions in bus routes. It also provides funds for quality of life programs and those that protect families and the environment while helping residents who have not fully enjoyed the booming economy. Daycare, anti-smoking initiatives, economic development, and programs for the county's growing senior population are among the key items in the budget. The $1.2 billion budget is 2.4% larger than last year's, an increase below the current cost of living index. And here are some highlights. Daycare, the 2001 budget invests $17.8 million in county funding in daycare, a $13.2 million increase over the 2000 budget. The money create 4,647 low-income daycare slots to help families coming off public assistance and to help working families remain self-sufficient. In his 2001 budget, Spano continues his commitment to the county's anti-tobacco campaign with $2.6 million slated for programs to stop young people from smoking. Other programs funded in the budget include public health. $800,000 are going to add 14 new health department positions to bring mosquito control and surveillance programs in-house. Expanded watershed monitoring and educational outreach to protect the quality of drinking water, and increased environmental monitoring at the airport. $300,000 for 8 new positions to maintain county parks and golf courses. $450,000 for Shoot to Shoot, a new playland ride that is expected to pay for itself and to help increase playland attendance. Transportation, an additional $3.4 million for the Department of Transportation to maintain current fares and level of service. Public safety, $500,000 for a new child sexual abuse investigation team, which for the first time will bring together police, child protective services, the district attorney's office, and the county attorney's office, and the probation and community mental health departments to work on cases. One of the main sources of financing the tax cut in the budget proposal is an increase in sales tax revenues. This accounts for 23.2% of all revenues, up from 21% in this year's budget. Alicia?
Well, the Washingtonville Housing Alliance has been working hard to find a way to develop a parcel of land in the village of Mamaroneck. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Sharon Levy has a story.
What's more important to Mamaroneck Village, affordable housing for new families or parking? The Washingtonville Housing Alliance would like to build 4 affordable 2-family homes. According to the article in the Journal News, the proposed location is 726 Old White Plains Road. This proposed housing would allow the apartments to be constructed closer to the street than normal, and therefore limiting parking. Several people at the zoning board meeting on November 2nd complained that the proposed housing would make traffic conditions worse. Neighbors in the village are concerned that the 16-car garage for the new residents would be too small and in turn decrease parking along the residential streets. No formal decision has been made about whether to build the apartment units. Yet, the Washingtonville Housing Alliance Executive Director Ellen Levy explained that the parking for the new residents would be okay with current zoning. The new residents wouldn't need to park on the street. Therefore, it would be enough private parking available. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Sharon Levy.
Well, and I guess we welcome Sharon Levy back to our news show team after a couple of years she spent at college.
A couple of years she's been absent from our show, but a welcome return.
Now she's back. And speaking of the Village of Mamaroneck Zoning Board, they also rejected the expansion plans of the Mamaroneck Beach and Yacht Club. For all the details, here's Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Maura Carlin.
Mamaroneck Beach and Yacht Club cannot double the size of its dining and clubhouse facilities. That's the decision of the Village of Mamaroneck Zoning Board of Appeals. The board decided last week that the proposed increase in the facilities from nearly 19,000 to about 36,000 square feet would change the use of the club at the foot of South Barry Avenue from marine recreation to commercial. In 1985, clubs on the waterfront, such as Mamaroneck Beach and Yacht, were rezoned as marine recreation to prevent residential development and to ensure public access to the sound. Zoning Board Chairman Tony Voza was quoted in the Journal News, a 30,000-something square foot dining area. It's hard to justify how that's not an activity that's commonly conducted as a business. Now, the attorney for the club president is Paul Noto, a county legislator and former village mayor, who said he believed the club would scale back its dining hall proposal to accommodate the zoning board requirements, but also did not rule out the possibility of a court appeal. Mr. Noto had argued before the Zoning Board of Appeals that the expansion was intended to boost income to the club, to attract more members and not increase dues. The proposal also included plans to add a tennis court and a winter tennis bubble over 4 of the courts, to expand both the boathouse for a larger summer day camp and the club manager's house, and to increase parking capacity from 119 to 360 cars. The plan was approved by the village building inspector in September, but was referred to the Zoning Board of Appeals by the Planning Board, which wasn't sure if a variance was needed. Now, this expansion plan comes on the heels of an aborted attempt last May by the club president, Bernard Rosenshine, to build 54 luxury townhouses on 2 of the club's 11 acres, which was dropped after intense community opposition. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Maura Carlin.
Well, taking the SAT test is a very stressful time in a student's life. To fill us in, here's Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Glenna Gray.
The increased competition to get into the, quote, better, unquote, colleges has become quite stressful for high school students throughout Westchester County. Students are being trained to improve their scores on the SAT exam. The Scholastic Aptitude Test is given every fall for seniors who wish to bring up their grades. Test-taking skills are offered in the private sector as well as in the public schools. The more familiar students are with the exam, the more relaxed they become for the exam. Good luck to all of you. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Glenna Gray.
Signing the language of the deaf is being taught to first graders at the Daniel Warren Elementary School in Rye Neck. For more, here's Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Teresa Dioberto.
Allison Billman is a first-grade teacher at Daniel Warren Elementary School in Rye Neck. She believes 6-year-olds are not meant to be still. If she can give them an excuse to move, it allows them to tune in to what she's doing. What Miss Bellman is doing is teaching her students how to use sign language in a fun way. But more importantly, she is empowering her students in a way that helps them focus on learning. The students are learning to sign by singing and singing to their favorite songs. Pam McWilton's son Connor attends Miss Bellman's class and was quoted in the Journal News saying, "Connor loves it. I think he loves the feeling of knowing how to do it and being able to teach it to someone else. He enjoys school more this year and focuses better on his schoolwork." End of quote. Another student, Catherine, says she likes signing because it allows her to talk when she's supposed to be quiet. Miss Billman was quoted in the Journal News saying she used basic sign language to reinforce rote skills, like the alphabet and the days of the week. She has been teaching for 12 years. 9 years ago, she got serious about signing because she needed the skills in order to communicate with a student's deaf mother. The students at Daniel Warren Elementary School in Rye Neck are lucky to have a teacher like Allison Billman. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Teresa DiRoberto.
Well, it's very important that you listen closely to this next story. It could save your life. Ingredients in some cold medication have been linked to stroke risk. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Maria Severino has the story.
The Food and Drug Administration is warning consumers to stop taking several cough medicines and diet pills because they contain the ingredient propanolamine, or PPA, because it increases the risk of stroke, especially in young women. Following a study by Yale University which found that individuals taking products with PPA were found to be at a higher risk of hemorrhagic stroke or bleeding in or around the brain. The risk increases for women between the age group of 18 to 49 and can leave survivors disabled. Risk increases with age and smoking, alcohol consumption, and use of blood-thinning medicines. A plan to ban PPA is underway. However, the process is a lengthy one, and as a courtesy for the health of consumers, the FDA has asked manufacturers to voluntarily stop selling and making products containing PPA. Consumers are also being asked to avoid taking any products with PPA. Dozens of over-the-counter cough and cold medicines for adults and children, such as Dimetapp, Contact, Alka-Seltzer, and Triminic, as well as generic and store brands, are affected. PPA has been in use for more than 50 years, and some in the pharmaceutical field feel that the companies who manufacture products with PPA derive many benefits, and this is why the FDA has not asked these companies outright to stop producing these medicines which contain the product PPA. If anyone needs further information regarding PPA, you may call the following hotline number for assistance: 1-888-INFO-FDA, or a direct line 301-827-4570. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Maria Severino.
Good news for seniors who play golf. Fridays might just be your lucky day. To fill us in, here's Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter and golfer herself, Christina Bolger.
This story began last year when the Westchester County Parks Board started counting Friday as a weekend day and charged seniors the weekend rate. The weekday rate for those over 60 is $10 for 18 holes of golf. On weekends, the rate doubles to $20. With the seniors now not playing on Fridays, the other 4 weekdays became very crowded. People have started to complain, and a petition with over 1,500 signatures has been sent to the county urging the board to keep Friday as a weekday. County Executive Andrew Spano, Board Chairman George Latimer, and County Legislator Jim Massano and Vito Pinto are all for granting the seniors their request. Communications Director for the County Executive, Susan Tolchin, said, "We have heard what the seniors have been telling us," but she went on to say that the Parks Board would have to find a way to recoup the $230,000 in lost revenue that changing Friday back to a weekday would cost. One of the solutions was to increase the per-round fee by $1 to all golfers. We shall know by next golf season if the seniors get their weekday back. Stay tuned. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Christina Bolger.
And that's it for this week's edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
If you want to see this news show again, you can. It's on every weekday night at 7 p.m. We record one show each week, and it's replayed on this channel, LMC TV Channel 71.
Or if you want to request to see it, you can call LMC TV after 4 in the afternoon during the week at 698-6808 and ask to see the new show. They'll try to put it on at a time that's convenient for you to watch.
And this reminder, this news program is an all-volunteer effort, and we could use a few more volunteers, either behind the scenes or as a reporter. Or maybe you'd like to shoot video. Whatever the case, we need you.
In short, if you want to volunteer to help us put this program on, we have something for you to do. Stop by some Thursday night in the LMC TV studios and see how we do what we do.
The LMC TV studios are in the Mamaroneck High School, the Palmer Avenue site, just up the stairs across from the landmark Walter's hot dog stand. We get things started around 7 p.m. and we would love to see you.
Also, if you have any comments or suggestions or some video of an event that you would like us to put on this new show, bring it to the studio or write to us at Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News in care of LMC TV, 1 Library Lane, Mamaroneck, New York, 10543.
Thanks again for watching Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Sven Oehme.
And I'm Alicia Myro. We'll see you next week.
And happy Thanksgiving.
Yes, you too. Gobble, gobble. I think I say that every year.
I was waiting for it.
Hello and welcome to this edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. Cablevision is raising your cable rates.
There is a new restaurant in Larchmont.
The Mamaroneck Town Fire Department is having a holiday food drive, and we'll tell you how you can help.
Montefiore Hospital opens a new care unit in Larchmont.
And a check on winter heating bills and tobacco revenue for Westchester County may be going up in smoke. Those stories and more all right here on this edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
Hello and welcome to the Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News Show for the first week of December 2000. I'm Christina Bolger.
And I'm Alicia Myro. Our top story. The saga continues with IKEA at the news forefront. Many local network news stations have covered the story in the ongoing battle between local residents and the furniture superstore being proposed for New Rochelle. The Westchester County Planning Department has said the draft environmental impact study of the IKEA furniture store proposed for New Rochelle underestimates the impact of the traffic on nearby neighborhoods. It questions the traffic estimates, which were based on the IKEA store in Elizabeth, New Jersey, and shrunk down to match the size of the store proposed for New Rochelle. The County Planning Board also said it is impossible to determine the financial benefits of the project without knowing the amount of sales tax revenue generated from the existing businesses because it was absent from the IKEA report. There have been suggestions that point to the building of IKEA because of New Rochelle's need for increased tax revenue. Mamaroneck and Larchmont officials, in an effort to keep IKEA out, will push State Assemblyman Ronald Tochi to help New Rochelle receive more state aid and be able to raise higher property taxes. In addition, Mamaroneck Town, led by Supervisor Valerie Moore O'Keefe, has been aggressively fighting the IKEA project and recently hired planning consultants to provide further impact and traffic studies. Local residents have gathered to discuss the possibility that traffic would increase noise, congestion, accidents, pollution, and ruin the suburban character of our area if IKEA were built. In fact, New Rochelle's original public hearing regarding the IKEA proposal brought a crowd of more than 500 residents, and they spilled out of the City Hall hoping for a chance to speak. In response to the high attendance, New Rochelle extended the hearing by adding 2 more sessions to allow all speakers to voice their opinions. The hearing elicited many reactions regarding the draft environmental impact study, mostly negative. IKEA wants to build a 2-story, 308-square-foot furniture store and about 1,500 parking spaces south of 5th Avenue on the Mamaroneck border. In order for IKEA to build the store, the 15-acre site across from City Park must be cleared of its existing businesses and homes. IKEA has already bought up 72% of the neighborhood, and the city is considering using eminent domain to seize property whose owners do not willingly sell. The ultimate decision will be in the hands of New Rochelle board members, and there is no way of telling exactly what will happen. The debate continues, and we will continue to bring you up to date on the latest details.
On June 8th of this year, William Milligan entered his ex-girlfriend's Mamaroneck store with a rifle and a shotgun, raped her, and afterwards held her and a customer hostage as Mamaroneck Village police officers arrived. The police had been called by the person on the phone on the other end of the telephone line who had been talking to the victim when Milligan entered the store and who was listening to what was happening over the phone. The officers were finally able to convince him to surrender. Milligan has now pleaded guilty to first-degree rape, a felony. He faces up to 25 years in prison when he is sentenced on January 16th. Westchester County District Attorney Janine Perro praised the work of the Mamaroneck police officers. The Journal News quoted her saying, "Mamaroneck Village Police worked very hard on this case and did a fantastic job." End of quote.
Well, consumers in Westchester County have been hit with the highest prices for heating oil in at least a decade. To make matters worse, it doesn't appear it will get any better. Prices have not been nearly as high since 1990. Bill Crillo, owner of Wilco Energy Oil in New Rochelle, said prices will rise above $2 if it gets any colder than later in the season. The U.S. Energy Department recently predicted that homeowners nationally will see their bills go up by 25% or more because of the higher cost for oil and a winter season that is expected to be colder than normal. National storage supplies are down, and an increase in heating oil production is not anticipated. Some consumers may find relief from high oil prices by joining groups such as the New York Public Interest Research Group, or NYPIRG. By joining the group for a $30 annual fee, you can take advantage of the nonprofit organization's group discount. Natural gas customers won't get off easy either. Homeowners who use natural gas to heat their homes may pay more than 44% for natural gas this year compared to last. It seems heavy sweaters will be in order this winter.
Cablevision plans an increase of its rates of 12.2% come January. The most popular plan of Cablevision, the family plan, would rise by $4.12. The increase, about 3 times the 3.4% annualized inflation rate for October, is a shock to many customers. Cablevision says that the rate is needed to cover programming costs that have gone up by 15% on average. According to the cable company, the increases are also needed to cover higher operating costs and expenditures in customer service and network upgrades. Furthermore, Cablevision stated that the costs for fuel and for labor had gone up too. An attorney for the Yonkers-based Consumers Union, Gene Kimmelman, was in the Journal News. He said, "This is not a legitimate cost increase. This is the cable monopoly taking advantage of their monopoly to price gouge customers." End of quote.
Well, a special medical unit is coming to Larchmont. For more, here's Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Sharon Levy.
In Larchmont, the Montefiore Medical Center has created a specialty center in Westchester County focused on women's health issues. The Larchmont Women's Center will also be exclusively staffed by female obstetricians and gynecologists. Dr. Spencer Foreman is quoted in the Journal News. "We think we have moved and are in the midst of moving into a different level of care for women, babies, and children." The community hospital and Dobbs Ferry has opened an all-female practice called Women Caring for Women with a variety of specialties. There is a total of 7 doctors at the Larchmont Center. The group is headed by Susan Klugman, who has been practicing elsewhere in Larchmont. Dr. Mary Paris has moved from a New Rochelle practice that had both male and female doctors, and Paris told the Journal News, "Pregnant patients especially like the all-female staff." The office is conveniently located on Boston Post Road in Larchmont, just down the street from Tony's Nurseries, and they accept all major medical plans. The parking is in the rear of the building. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Sharon Levy.
Tobacco's on the minds of county lawmakers and local school children. Here to clear up all the smoke is Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Amy Schachtel.
Tobacco sales are down in Westchester due to the decline of smokers in the county. With the low sales, Westchester will receive about $2.2 million, less than what was expected. According to the National Tobacco Settlement, The settlement was made 2 years ago by several states and the major tobacco companies to resolve lawsuits filed by the states to regain money spent treating patients with smoke-related diseases. Initially, the deal expected to provide Westchester with $400 million over a period of 25 years. In a related story, students in 65 Westchester County schools will participate in an anti-smoking program next year. The National Theater for Children will go to 20 elementary schools and 15 middle schools in the county. In order to participate, each school must apply to the program, which will cost a total of $81,000, and it is scheduled to begin in February 2001. The program consists of live performances and a following lesson plan. For Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Amy Schachtel.
The Village of Mamaroneck held its annual turkey trot race, and here with the results is Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News reporter Sharon Levy.
On November 19th, the Village of Mamaroneck held its annual turkey trot race. This year's race was a real barn burner. Mamaroneck Village resident Gerard Pizzo was just 7 seconds behind the winner, 19-year-old Daniel Amarick of Yorktown, who had the winning time of 27 minutes. The best female time came from Katie White. She's from New Rochelle with a time of 31 minutes and 1 second. The closest Mamaroneck Village woman resident was Terry Sonnenclair, who posted a time of 33 minutes and 17 seconds. In the Gobbler division, kids 12 and under, there was a close race as well. 11-year-old Michael Schlazinski of Yonkers had the winning time of 6 minutes and 1 second. But just 8 seconds behind was the female winner, 11-year-old Caitlin McEvely of New Rochelle. In the 5-mile race, in the 14 and under division, the winners were Evan Palmer Young and Julia Wallner with times of 28 minutes and 24 seconds and 41 minutes and 40 seconds. Congratulations to all the 299 runners who competed in this year's 21st edition of the Turkey Trot Race, held in the Village of Mamaroneck. For Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News, I am Sharon Levy.
The town of Mamaroneck Fire Department is holding its annual holiday food drive. For all the details, here's Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News reporter Amy Schachtel.
For the past 5 years, the town of Mamaroneck Fire Department has put together a holiday season food drive. The town fire department is asking all residents for non-perishable food items. Canned soups, cereals, and baby food top their wish list. Please bring your contributions to the Town of Mamaroneck Fire Department headquartered, located between Edgewood and Hillcrest Avenues at 205 Weaver Street. The firemen have a collection box located inside the main entrance. The Town of Mamaroneck Fire Department food drive will run until January 15th, 2001. If you would like more information, please call them at 834-2192. That's 834-2192. For Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Amy Schachtel.
There's a new restaurant in the village of Larchmont. Here with all the delicious details is Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News reporter Sharon Levy.
We are at Fuji Mountain, Larchmont's newest Japanese restaurant on the Boston Post Road. The outside of the restaurant, as you can see, is decorated with a Japanese garden and waterfall. It's a Tuesday night. Let's see what's for dinner. Larchmont's hungry crowd is delighted with the entertainment of tonight's hibachi chefs. The restaurant's tables are filled with families bringing people of all ages to enjoy this Japanese cuisine. Fuji Mountain welcomes us to this restaurant with some traditional Japanese appetizers. The appetizers were served, looked so delicate and artistic. The first creation that we tasted was beef nigamaki roll, which is a thinly sliced beef roll with scallions. Next, we tried some shrimp and vegetable tempura. Tempura is a food that is breaded and then lightly fried with oil. The tempura was served with a dipping sauce made with white radish and soy sauce. Then, the dragon vegetable roll. This was made of mainly fresh avocado. Next, the sumo roll, which consists of diverse diced vegetables surrounded by rice and seaweed. The sushi chef's creations were fun finger food to eat. Fuji Mountain has a full bar with an assortment of wines and mixed drinks. Fuji Mountain's interior is decorated with Japanese symbols, sculpture, and detailed art. Our hibachi chef, Patrick, is ready to cook for us some vegetables, rice, filet mignon, and lobster. The hibachi table is extremely hot. Chef Patrick does some entertaining tricks. Chef Patrick, tell us about some of your hibachi creations.
Hibachi creations. Sushi is a very traditional Japanese food and kitchen food, tempura. And hibachi is a very American-style Japanese food. And my job is to make it more Americanized to fit Americans.
The food was delicious. The service was impeccable. Thank you, or as I should say, arigatos mas, to Chef Patrick, Carl, Bo, and Saw. From Fuji Mountain, this is Sharon Levy for Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
We'd like to thank Mike Witch for the video footage of our area's newest hibachi.
Delicious. And that's it for this week's edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
If you want to see this new show again, you can. It's on every weekday night at 7 p.m. We record one show each week, and it's replayed on this channel, LMC TV, Channel 71.
Or if you want to request to see it, you can call LMC TV after 4 in the afternoon during the week at 698-6808 and ask to see the new show. They will try to put it on at a time that's convenient for you to watch.
And this reminder, this news program is an all-volunteer effort, and we could use a few more volunteers, either behind the scenes or as a reporter, or maybe you'd like to shoot video. Whatever the case, we need you.
In short, if you want to volunteer to help us put this program on, we have something for you to do. Stop by some Thursday night in the LMC TV studios and see how we do what we do.
The LMC TV studios are in the Mamaroneck High School, the Palmer Avenue side, just up the stairs across from the landmark Walter's Hot Dog Stand. We get things started around 7 p.m., and we would love to see you.
Also, if you have any comments or suggestions or some video of an event that you would like us to put on this new show, bring it to the studio or write to us at Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News in care of LMC TV, 1 Library Lane, Mamaroneck, New York, 10543.
Thanks again for watching Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Christina Bolger.
And I'm Alicia Myro. We'll see you next week. Fire at the Total Marine Boatyard in the village of Mamaroneck.
Westchester County has received more sales tax revenue than expected.
The pesticide called diazinon is banned for home use.
A Mamaroneck High School science student has set her sights on the stars.
And we'll have an update on the town budget, and it seems Mamaroneck is a good place to grow zucchini. Those stories and more coming up on this edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
welcome to the Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News Show for the second week of December 2000. I'm Sven Oehme.
And I'm Alicia Myro. Our top story. The IKEA battle continues to brew. After 5 nights and more than 16 hours of speakers, the public hearings on IKEA's proposal to build a 2-story, 308,000 square foot furniture store and about 1,500 parking spaces south of 5th Avenue on the Mamaroneck border have ended. Most of the comments made at these public hearings were in opposition to the project. Many of the people who came to speak were Mamaroneck and Larchmont residents who feel that IKEA will bring with it noise, congestion, accidents, pollution, and ruin the suburban character of our area. Concern even from Scarsdale residents has cropped up. IKEA has projected that most consumers will use I-95 to travel to the store, but many residents feel the number of people that would use the Hutchinson River Parkway and exit at Weaver Street has been underestimated. With the end of the public hearings, the review of the IKEA project will soon move to the next phase. The public comment period on the draft Environmental Impact Statement, or DEIS, is ending and only written comments are being accepted. All the comments, whether spoken or written, will then be passed on to Tim Miller Associates Incorporated, which wrote the DEIS for IKEA. New Rochelle City Council and Mayor Tim Idoni will also be able to submit questions which under the law must be answered. If the council is satisfied, it will approve the study as final. Then it will consider the elements of the IKEA proposal. This includes declaring the City Park neighborhood an urban renewal area. Various county and state agencies will also have to approve parts of the plan. Idoni has said that IKEA must simplify the information on traffic, making it real for the public. The battle is far from over, and more public hearings would be scheduled regarding City Park rezoning if the next phase is in fact reached. As always, we'll keep you updated.
As part of the process of adopting the Westchester County budget for next year, it was up to the county legislature last week to review and vote on the budget for the year 2001 as proposed by Westchester County Executive Andrew Spano. Some alterations were made to Spano's $1.2 billion budget. The Board of Legislators' Budget and Appropriations Committee made the unanimous decision to add $4.9 million in new spending and cut proposed excess expenses by $1.3 million. The largest spending increases for child care. $1.3 million were added to Spano's proposal. The legislators also agreed on reducing the county's property tax levy from 4.8% to 4.9%. A bit controversial is the assumption by the legislators that the sales tax collections would be higher than projected in the county executive's budget. Spano's proposal included a $261.9 million sales tax projection, but auditors for the Board of Legislators concluded that the sales tax collection would be higher and could be increased by $4.7 million. The budget will now be reviewed by the Board of Legislators before they will make a final decision.
Well, Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Glenna Gray has a story about a Mamaroneck High School student who seems to excel in science.
Mamaroneck High School does it again. Seaman Westinghouse Science and Technology Competition. We have a winner here. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And tell us your name.
Jacqueline Gordon. I'm a senior.
Jacqueline Gordon. And what did you do to win this medal and the one around your neck?
I'm in a program called Original Research at the high school, where you pick an area of science that you're interested in and you pursue it. And I picked cataclysmic variables, which are a type of binary star in astronomy. And I worked with a professor at Columbia, Dr. Joseph Patterson. And I studied a very old system and compared it to the younger ones that were previously studied.
Fantastic. Now, binary star tells me that it means two.
Yes.
What's the relationship between these two stars?
They simultaneously revolve around each other with a common gravitational center.
And how did you get the data about these two stars?
Well, my mentor started a program called the Center for Backyard Astrophysics, which has amateur astronomers around the world who are all, when they are told by him, looking at a certain portion of the sky and taking certain data, and they send it back to him, and they send him the date, and they also send him the brightness, and then I use that for my calculations.
Oh, I see a PhD there. I see you developing a PhD. Now, with your free time, How do you spend your free time?
I like playing tennis. I was on varsity tennis.
Oh, varsity tennis, good.
And I like reading.
I'm sure you like reading. Any particular area?
Not really. I like a sort of a
Everything.
variety of things.
What else do you
Depends.
do to relax, let's say?
To relax. Well, I like to write poetry when I have the time.
Oh, poetry,
But I don't
yes.
have a lot of time to spare. And I like playing basketball, and I like my other subjects in school too. I'm interested in English and history, and I'm taking calculus.
Well, you're a very, very busy young lady. Congratulations again, Jacqueline.
Thank you.
And Mamaroneck High School, congratulations again. I know I will be speaking to Dr. Gordon in about 6 years.
Maybe.
The Democrats in Mamaroneck Village who were successful in taking over the village board have now been charged by the independent Westchester County Fair Campaign Practices Committee for several unfair campaign practices this fall. The committee is a nonpartisan group. It found that 5 actions by the Democrats were found to be unfair and 6 were found to be not fair. Most of these practices concern the treatment of the building and financing of the Regatta condominium by the village of Mamaroneck under the previous Republican-dominated village board. The findings of the Fair Campaign Practices Committee do not mean that there will be any charges against the Democrats.
Well, there was a fire at the Total Marine Boatyard here in the village of Mamaroneck. Here with the details is Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Amy Schachtel.
On Sunday, December 3rd, around 4 a.m., 5 boats at the Total Marine Boatyard in the village of Mamaroneck were damaged by fire. All the boats were in dry dock and being prepared for winter. One boat in particular was very badly damaged by fire. According to the police, work on the boat had been going on until 6:30 p.m. Saturday. For the village of Mamaroneck, the fire officials have said the fire appeared to be accidental and no one was hurt in the blaze. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Amy Schachtel.
A gang of young adults wielding bats have been terrorizing commuters at the Larchmont train station. For more, here's Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Christina Bolger.
If you live in Larchmont or Mamaroneck, or you commute on the Metro North trains through the Metro North train station, you need to listen to this report. Recently, a man and a woman were robbed on the Metro North train platform in the village of Mamaroneck. A group of 8 to 10 men carrying black bats robbed them, escaping the scene with a gold chain, portable stereo, wallet, and the woman's purse. The couple were uninjured. On that same evening, in a separate incident, a Larchmont man was confronted by 6 men carrying bats. Fortunately, the man was not injured. However, when the robbers demanded his property, he handed over his shopping bag of Christmas stockings and cards. He described his assailants as being in their late teens or mid-20s. Fortunately, 2 men have been arrested and charged with the crime. Police said they found the getaway van after tracking down and finding the Christmas stockings and cards that had been stolen on one of the men. Police are seeking additional suspects. No connection has been made between the Larchmont and the village of Mamaroneck robberies. Reporting for Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Christina Bolger.
A widely used pesticide might be a danger to children. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Maura Carlin has the details.
Lawn owners, beware. The pesticide diazinon is being pulled from the market because it poses a health risk, especially to children, according to the United States Environmental Protection Agency. Sold under the trade names Ortho, Spectracide, Real Kill, and No Pest, diazinon has been used for about 50 years outdoors to kill garden and lawn pests, and indoors as an ant and roach killer. The makers of the pesticide have agreed to phase out distribution of diazinon, no more for non-agricultural uses such as lawn care by mid-2003, and to be off-store shelves by 2004. Retail sales for indoor use will stop by the end of 2002. Diazinon is what is called an organophosphate pesticide and was derived from the same chemical family as the sarin nerve gas agent developed during World War II. Health experts believe that significant exposure can affect the nervous system, with small children facing the greatest risk. Diazinon is the second organophosphate pesticide to be phased out this year by the EPA. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Maura Carlin.
The Mamaroneck Historical Society is holding a special telecast event to commemorate the millennium. If you want to tell your story on TV, you should listen to Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Sharon Levy.
The Mamaroneck Town Board is working hard on next year's 2001 budget. As it stands this week, the Mamaroneck Town proposed budget is $20.8 million for 2001. Property taxes in unincorporated part of the town of Mamaroneck will increase by 2.8%. Taxes a home assessed at $20,000 under the proposed tax rate will be $172.45 per $1,000 of assessed valuation, or $3,449. The town will decrease taxes by 2% in the villages of Larchmont and Mamaroneck from $260 to $256 per $1,000 of assessed property at $20,000. The town of Mamaroneck is still working on these numbers, and the town board will have to vote on budget to make it final. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Sharon Levy.
It seems that Mamaroneck might be a good place to grow zucchini. Here with all the delicious details is Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Amy Schachtel.
As winter quickly descends upon us, two gardeners in Mamaroneck have had a bountiful harvest. Margaret Archer and Franco LaMonica just months ago planted seedlings of zucchini plants that grew to be some of the largest known. LaMonica and Archer have crowned themselves Zucchini King and Zucchini Queen. They also received from the Guinness Book of World Records papers to hold for the next harvest. LaMonica grew a zucchini that measured 5 feet tall and 19 pounds. Mrs. Archer grew a 4-foot-tall zucchini that earned her the title of Zucchini Queen. Both gardeners have harvested way after most of us have put the gardens to sleep for the winter. However, when LaMonica is in his garden, he says, one of the closest times to God for him is when he's in his garden. Congratulations to both of them for doing such good work in such a big way. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Amy Schachtel.
The town of Mamaroneck is still pondering its 2001 budget. Here with an update is Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Sharon Levy.
To commemorate the end of the millennium, the Mamaroneck Historical Society is producing a TV program about the 20th century. The Mamaroneck Historical Society is asking members of the community to bring their most cherished memories to Studio 2, which is located directly next door to the Mamaroneck Public Library. Individuals in the community should bring art, newspaper headlines from the past, concert tickets, or any other object that brings back memories of any decade. War veterans are asked to bring their uniforms and medals. If you would like to participate, please bring your objects and stories to Studio 2 in the village of Mamaroneck on December 19th at 8 p.m. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I am Sharon Levy.
Good news for some property owners in Mamaroneck. They were successful in their tax certiorari lawsuits lowering their property assessment. The Mamaroneck Board of Education approved paying almost $50,000 to the successful parties.
And that's it for this week's edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
If you want to see this news show again, you can. It's on every weekday night at 7 p.m. We record one show each week, and it's replayed on this channel, LMC TV Channel 71.
Or if you want to request to see it, you can call LMC TV after 4 in the afternoon during the week at 698-6808 and ask to see the new show. They'll try to put it on at a time that's convenient for you to watch.
And this reminder, this news program is an all-volunteer effort, and we could use a few more volunteers either behind the scenes or as a reporter. Or maybe you'd like to shoot video. Whatever the case, we need you.
In short, if you want to volunteer to help us put this program on, we have something for you to do. Stop by some Thursday night in the LMC TV studios and see how we do what we do.
The LMC TV studios are in the Mamaroneck High School, the Palmer Avenue side, just up the stairs across from the landmark Walter's hot dog stand. We get things started around 7 p.m. and we would love to see you.
Also, if you have any comments or suggestions or some video of an event that you would like us to put on this news show, bring it to the studio or write to us at Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News in care of LMC TV, 1 Library Lane, Mamaroneck, New York, 10543.
Thanks again for watching Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Sven Oehmer.
And I'm Alicia Myra. We'll see you next week. And we do want to wish Studio 2 coordinator and longtime supporter and helper here at the news show, Debbie Slansky, get well wishes. We hope for a speedy recovery. Hello and welcome to Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, special edition of News on the News. I'm Alicia Myro.
And I'm Sven Oehmer. And tonight we are going to talk to the volunteers who put together this program every week. And to my left is Sharon Levy, and to your right
is Teresa Di Roberto.
Right. So we'll start with Sharon. You were on the news show a couple of years ago for about 2 years.
Yes, that's right. I started out working at MHS Info, which took place during the day when I was a Mamaroneck High School student. And then at night, Jeff Montanaro was nice enough to actually ask me to be a reporter on the show, and I was so honored to work with all the adults. And I went to Ithaca College, and I got a television and radio broadcast degree.
And during that time, you did not take part in our news show?
No, I didn't. For 3 years, I graduated a year early. And now I work in New York at Venture Direct Worldwide selling advertising, and I'm not using anything in my TV career. And I wanted to come over and help with the community and be involved since I had such a good time several years ago.
Can you tell us some of the things that you've been involved in at the news show?
Sure. Well, I hope to be the new restaurant reporter in the community. So far, I've been to Osteria Marietta, which will air this week, a review on that. And we went to Fuji-Ma, which is a new Japanese restaurant that opened on the Boston Post Road. And I look forward to going to all the new restaurants that open in the community and old ones that have a change in their menu or name to do a review.
That sounds exciting. And can you tell us, for those people that are considering or thinking that they might possibly want to volunteer and get an idea of what it's like, can you just give a little bit of insight from someone who was here 2 years ago and then decided to join us again, some of the things that they might experience?
Well, what's neat is that everybody comes in Thursday at 7 o'clock, and you have 3 hours to put together a news show and watching the whole thing come together. All of the reporters come in, you don't know what your story's going to be, and then Jeff gives it to you, and you write it up, and then you get to do it on TV, and everyone's nice, and they help you do it. And it's really a great experience reading off the teleprompter and practicing.
And for those of you that don't know, Jeff Montanaro is our executive producer. And what are some of the other skills that you've picked up on the news show, aside from being on camera and doing reporting? I imagine some story writing experience you've gotten. Any use of the equipment?
Well, yes, last week I got to help cue people on camera. I was a what do they call the person? A studio cuer, a
floor manager.
Floor manager. I got the experience of wearing a headset and cueing everyone. I really like that. It was was fun.
So you really got your hands into everything. Have you done some teleprompting also? Because I see now that you use the teleprompter yourself, and you can read your own story right off the monitor.
Yes.
And I think it's important for people to know that it's not frightening. It's really fun. It's entertaining. You're informing the community. You're learning a lot about your community, which is one of the reasons I got involved. I think it was five or so years ago. But to have people come in and to have that experience and know that it's not scary.
Yeah, and there are also many different jobs that need to be done.
Absolutely. Not everyone wants to be a restaurant reviewer, but
and not everybody wants to be seen.
we have a lot of behind the
There
scenes.
are some people who rather like to work on some technical equipment and edit or do some other things, or work the cameras and so on. So there are many different jobs, and seeing us is only part of it.
I know, that's true. We have teleprompting and camera work, and a lot of people who go out and shoot what they call, I think it's B-roll, people who would shoot scenes related to the stories that we're actually going to be having on air. But, and we're so happy that you came back to visit us, even though you're working in Manhattan, and we wish you a lot of success there. And we look forward to hearing about your next restaurant, Sharon.
Thank you.
And then now over to my right is Teresa Di Roberto. Hi, Teresa.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us here at our little round table, News on the News. And you've been with us for a while, for I think a couple of years now. And we'd just like to know, what you do in your other time when you're not with the news, and how you got involved with LMC News.
Well, I got involved because my cousin is Jeff Montanaro, the executive producer.
Okay.
And it happened one spring. Everyone was on vacation, and he called and asked me if I could help out here. And the next thing I knew, Sven was announcing that I had joined the team.
And that was it. So you were part of the team.
So I had to show up every week after that. So, but during the day, I work for Mercedes-Benz in Manhattan also, like Sharon. I sell, I help people buy cars, really. And I sold Sven a few Mercedes.
Very nice.
So, but that's what I do during the day. And I really enjoy working at the news show because I really have no idea what's going on in the community itself. I spend most of my life in the city, so it's fun to come in and listen to some of the times the politicians are here, and they're being interviewed, and they're telling us what's going on with the streetscape or what's going on in the schools. We had the historian. I interviewed the historian. I interviewed the director that put together St. Vito's Bazaar. Or what do they call it? The Festa.
Festa.
The Festa, yes, and Vito's
Things
Festa.
like that. So I get to learn all about really the community, and that's really interesting. So that's really why I like it. It's really nothing to do with anything that I'm interested in learning technically, but it's fun to just come and learn and watch,
Well, that's also really letting people know what's happening in the community is really the reason for the news show. I mean, many years ago there were local papers everywhere, and the local papers were bought up. They were merged into more like regional papers, and so there is no local newspaper anymore. And we thought when we started the news show some 12 years ago that it is important to give people local news and let them know what's happening in the community, let them see who the people are who are active in local government and local charity organizations and so on. And I think that's really a very important aspect, and I guess we've all met people who've approached us and said, we really like what you do because it's important to find out what's happening in our community.
I think something that you mentioned was it doesn't really have anything to do with your career, whereas Sharon actually went to college and studied something related to this field, and it doesn't matter if you are interested in broadcast news or television or you're not. It's an opportunity to get involved with the community.
Still volunteer.
We have had people that have joined us here on the news show and actually moved on to TV stations across the country and even in other countries because of their experience here and and the learning that took place. But there are other people who've come, such as myself and Sven and yourself, who do different things, who do things outside the field. And I think that's important to know, that even if it's not a field that you're interested in moving into, it's a learning place to find out about your community. And if it is a field you're interested in, then it's really a nice foundation for you to get accustomed to either being behind the scenes or in front of the camera.
That's right. Is there, Teresa, is there any favorite story that you did during those years that you've been here?
I really liked, I'm embarrassed because I can't remember her name, and she made such an impression on me. It was that historian. Maybe you know her name.
Gloria Poche-Pritz?
Yeah. She's fantastic. She was just, I couldn't get over.
Yeah, she has a great knowledge of the community.
Just, she was so interesting. But I really enjoyed that. Some of the people that come in here that are in charge of certain things, I really enjoyed speaking to her. And she probably could tell, you know, she knows other things too, and she just was very interesting to speak to. I liked her. There was another woman also. I like the women. I like the women role models that come in here. That there was another one also who is heading the fight of IKEA, you know. And some of these people are just amazing. So I could go home and you know.
Well, I think what I thought over the years was really amazing about the news show is to see the many talents that are really in our community here, and the many different things that people do and that they tell you about.
And we have to thank you for helping us all share that with the community. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And over the about 12 years that we've been doing this news program, we've had a lot of talent on the show too. We've had probably 100 people or so over the years involved in putting this program together. And we are joined now by two of our other reporters, Amy Schachtel to my left, and Christina Bolger to your right. And Christina has been on the show for almost 10 years now, yes?
Yeah, I started in 1993, and off and on in the past, say, 4 years, I've been pretty regular, and also anchoring, like
I know, you've
with
really
the
grown.
two of you, yes. Yes.
Talk about some of the experiences that you've had. I mean, you started 10 years ago. What were you first doing then and learning about, and then what have you been exposed to through that time frame?
Well, I learned a lot. I wasn't doing any interviews in the beginning, just writing stories, and then evolved into asking people on the street questions. And that was challenging.
The beat on the street,
to
that's
be on the
right, we
street,
like that.
to ask people, you know, what the question of the week was. That was a challenge to come up with, you know, narrow what the current events were to one question for the week. And around Mamaroneck and Larchmont, I tried not to give one community more time than the other. But that was really enjoyable, and around the holidays too, and politically.
And as you've gotten more experienced on the show, you've also even stepped into the anchor chair and and been responsible for that role. How has that been for you?
That's been a challenge. That's been a challenge. But I really enjoyed that. I think the most, being behind the desk, and it's a lot of fun.
And what would you say to someone that's, you know, sitting at home right now, kind of watching our round table, getting to know the reporters that are on our show? How would you encourage them to take a step into the studio on a Thursday night?
Well, I would encourage them to just come on down, because that's basically what I did 7 years ago, and gradually started out. And there were times that I didn't have time to write a story, and there were stories written for me, so all I had to do was read the teleprompter. And I'd never read on a teleprompter before, and everyone's really quite nice here, and you don't have to be nervous, and everyone's very helpful and encouraging. And if you make a mistake, it can be done over again. So you don't really have to have behind the camera or in front of the camera experience. You can just come on down and try it and learn here.
I think that's a great point that you make, because you don't have to have experience in front of the camera. It's really a learning process. We're not a live show, which is nice. So you can actually stop the tape and say, let me try that one more time, and really grow over time and get more comfortable with your public speaking if you decide or choose to have a role in front of the camera. Another thing that you mentioned I think is important for people that want to come down and volunteer is our executive producer, Jeff, will select the stories for the week for reporters reporters and the
Exactly.
anchors to do, but there's also opportunities if you so desire to go out and seek out your own stories and bring them back to
Exactly.
him, to go out and shoot some video, and
Right.
you've done a lot of that yourself, investigating in the
Exactly.
community and finding out some
was,
answers.
That was a lot of fun. I don't really haven't had the time the past year to do that, but I really enjoyed, felt like a real live reporter getting the news as it was happening. And I used to have the camera in the trunk of my car, and I'd call up Jeff and say, guess what's happening in Larchmont right now? I just saw, well, get some, get some footage of that. And that was really enjoyable. And also, reporting, if you don't want to be in front of the camera, you can help out one of the reporters by being, taking a camera and going out and doing an interview with them in that way. That'd be very helpful.
I guess Jeff Montanaro was mentioned so many times now, and you already said he's the executive producer, and he's been part of the news show since the very beginning, and he's really the most important person on the news show.
And you
because,
hardly
as
ever
you
see
said,
him.
and you hardly ever see him.
We couldn't do the
And
show without him. In fact, we
right.
don't do
We don't do a show without
does
him.
not air when he's not available.
Because he
So-
selects the stories, he
Exactly.
he
Coordinates
tells us
everything.
what to do, he coordinates everything, and then the following day, on Friday afternoons, he edits
Comes
the
in.
show, and that's another time when people, volunteers, can come in and
help out.
see
To learn how to use the
and
editing
learn how
equipment.
to learn the editing equipment, and so everybody's invited to come in. Actually,
Right.
when we do the show on Thursdays at about 7 in the evening, but also on
Friday
Fridays,
from 4
Friday
to
afternoon
7.
from 4
4
to
to
7.
7, he's here. Could use the
And
help.
Jeff Montanaro is here, and he's
Always.
been here for 12 years. So now let's turn to Amy.
Hi. Well,
you-
you just mentioned something that in the very beginning, when I met all of you and came here, one of the first things I did was go out with Christina with the camera, and she and I would take turns. It would be her question of the week, and I would learn how to shoot the camera, and I'd take the footage. And then when I would have a story, be it a restaurant or, just some happening in town, or we'd be at the train station, just different parts of Larchmont and Mamaroneck, and you would run camera for me.
Right.
I had the best time just talking to the people on the street, and then seeing, the first time I saw that footage, that was fun too, because we were able to pick and choose the best parts of it.
You can add voiceovers as well.
Right,
learn how to
yeah.
do
You've done that.
Well, and it's something that it's important what you just said. It's something that you've done yourself.
Right,
And I mean,
right.
you can actually look at it. You've created something.
That's right.
Because there are different angles when you go out there, different ways to
Right.
shoot, and to do the interviews and so on. So you can become really very creative. And another aspect that I feel is important, that there's no real pressure here. I mean, we're not commercial.
Right,
We don't get a paycheck. So we're all volunteers.
Volunteer.
And we're
Right.
doing
We're
it
here
because we're having
we
fun.
want to be here.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm here very much because I want to be here. This really fulfills a desire of mine that I did most of my life as a child, and I was always in front of the camera doing acting and advertising and all kinds of video and film. And then as the years went on and everybody's life takes the turns that it does, getting married and becoming a mom, and then the changes that go along with that, all of a sudden I find out that this is happening here, and I'm up in Westchester. And for someone like me who has spent most of her life in front of the camera and then didn't have that anymore, all of a sudden I had an outlet for something I really enjoy doing. So that's a big, big reason why I'm here. And I'm very happy that all of you are here,
And-
because
right.
it makes it easy. I mean, it's enjoyable because you're all great, and you make it easy for me.
Good to hear. But I think it's also important that everybody is really invited. I mean, you
Yes,
can't really
yes.
say, oh, these are just the 20 to 30-year-olds that are doing this program, because we have very young people on the show, and we have
Sure.
people who are more senior on the show.
We've had high school students. In fact, now we have a high school student who volunteers.
Yes.
Another
Jeff
Jeff.
Holden.
Right. He comes and volunteers. He does some camera work for us.
We had John Lennon from Mamaroneck. I think he's like 68, 70 years old.
Yes.
He came and he was helping, behind the camera, and he also went out with a couple of interviews with me. So you know,
Involved
anybody.
at any age.
Any age, absolutely.
I remember back when I started about 6 years ago, we had a high school student who was doing sports reporting. He was here at the high school, and he was on MHS and with the video club here, and he used to do all the sporting news that was going on in the community, Mamaroneck, Rhinebeck, Larchmont. And we even have had a weather person from time to time.
Who now is
Which
in
we
commercial
like another
television.
one. Yes,
You know,
he
Alicia,
does the
talk
weather
about
down in Florida.
Different ages. I even have my 9-year-old son. We come every Friday for the edit, and my son Jake likes to get involved in learning the edit board. And Jeff has been teaching him little bits at a time, but he knows more about it at this stage than I do. I mean, he's very, and he's 9. But it's just a wonderful experience. It's so fortunate that I can expose him to this. I mean, I don't know that
It's right here.
so easy for anybody else to have access to a studio and an edit suite, and this type of a format is very unique. We're very fortunate.
We are very fortunate.
And as we say, I mean, everybody is invited to help us. And you just mentioned the sports reporter, and we just talked about reports on restaurants again. There are probably many areas, and we know that there are many areas that we don't cover. And there may be
news, we've had people do
we
school
had
news.
school news. There may be people out there watching us, and maybe we can
Have an idea.
encourage them to come in and
Absolutely.
talk about their favorite topics.
Whatever area you feel strongly or passionate even about, and you want to let your voice and your feelings be heard, this is a perfect venue to do it.
Absolutely.
If you have some video or a story you'd like to share, just like I say at the end of every show,
Come on down.
come on in, even if it is for just one show, and you really want to share something with us. You're
It'd be
working on
great.
raising funds to help renovate a playground or doing something, a school play. Really to come in and let us know about it.
And I remember one time Christina and I were over at the Larchmont Public Library, and we covered, it was a gallery opening, and it was artists that ranged in age from about 13
Teenager, yeah.
to women, in their, I don't want to say, but I mean, they were mature.
Right, there
And
we
their
go.
work was
Excellent.
wonderful, and all of their work was great. But again, it shows that even if you have something creative that you've done that you feel has added life to the community, added color to the community, added culture, that's a great
absolutely.
thing to talk about and share. I mean, I would love everybody to come in and share those type of things with us.
You know, and the community really appreciates learning about their community. There's been a lot of times where people will stop and thank me and just say thank the people over at LMC, because we enjoy watching you. We learn about what's going on, and that a lot of people sometimes are surprised that we're volunteers.
I
You
know.
know?
I do. I
yeah.
have gotten that. They think, oh, you're
Yeah.
on that news show. I said, well,
Right.
thanks for watching. That's the first thing. And
Right, it happens in the
and make-
supermarket,
right,
on the train, or
Sure.
even in New York
CBS,
City.
and, yeah, on the train. I've said, you can always volunteer.
Right.
I said, it's volunteer? I said, yeah, sure it is. Come down anytime. And,
But you
and
did
I'm
say
hoping to see some of those people I bumped into.
in regards to volunteering, I think you said something very important before that bears repeating, and that is that there are so many different functions a person can do here. In front of the camera, behind the camera, and I bring this up specifically because I love being in front of the camera, but I don't think that I would have any strong feelings and do as well in front of the camera if I didn't understand what happens behind the camera. To know both sides of it, really, it just fills in all the blanks of what is being seen, how it's being perceived, what gets done with it, to watch from the shoot to the edit to what gets played on TV. You really get a better sense when you do it from both sides. So whether you want to be in front of the camera or behind the camera, just the fact that you want to get involved in media for the community, definitely come by, definitely do something here, because it all will intertwine and wrap into each other for a very fulfilling experience.
Thank you. Very well said.
Yes,
Thanks.
absolutely. And we're here every Thursday night.
Right, 7 o'clock.
That's it. that's when we start putting this news show together.
In the Palmer Avenue side of the high school.
Right up the stairs across from the
Landmark Walters hot dog stand.
And I think
Everybody knows that.
we have to remember that we do need to thank Mamaroneck High School. We do use this space. So the school district and LMC TV for putting us on Channel 71 now.
Yeah, right.
We're way up there on your dial. So we have to really say thank you so that those are the reasons why we're also on the air
So
too.
we can keep on doing what we're doing. Absolutely.
And of course now we're on Channel 71, the program itself at 7 p.m. in the evening, and sometimes also later in the evening.
I
The program is
have put it
repeated.
at midnight or
and
so.
yeah, between 11 and midnight, I think. That's the time when it usually comes on, and obviously you can also call in and ask for the
Request.
news show that they
A time
might
that's convenient for you.
put it on. Exactly.
And now we're joined by a very familiar face, Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Glenna Gray. Hello, Glenna.
Hi.
Thank you for taking a seat at our table. And you've been here quite some time. You've been doing the news for a while now, and
Yes, retirement was killing me. I was lying on the couch, and couch
Now, is that what
potato
brought you
style.
into the news studio?
Absolutely. The couch, every joint in my body was getting kinked up.
So we should actually be doing a news show every day.
Yes. For all volunteers, this is the job you want. You come out, you get no pay, but it is wonderful. Get off those couches, get out of those lazy boy chairs, and come volunteer at LMC TV. My previous colleagues have already told everything that's wonderful about being a volunteer at LMC TV. Of course, my perspective being one of the older people here, I love the intergenerational grouping here. It's where I get tuned into the slangs of the junior high school and the slangs of the high school and the slang of college, which I'm just totally out of slangs. Because sometimes I don't understand, but when I come here, I get a translation for me. But my main thrust with LMC TV is the fact that it is a part of the government doing it, that was it First Amendment rights. And being a strong believer in participatory democracy, I think that Jeff Montanaro does a great service to his community by bringing all the necessary information that he can to us, because America is not just one state. America is every place. The Larchmont Village is America. The village of Mamaroneck is America, and not just not Washington, D.C. alone. And I think that it's very important for people, and recently, we've had a wonderful demonstration of American democracy. And I think that this show also is a part of that. And I'll get off my soapbox for a little bit, because I'm very tuned in. I love democracy as a form of government.
I was about to ask you whether you want to run for office again.
I tried that in the village of Larchmont a couple of years ago. And that also was a learning experience for me. I went through some streets in the village of Larchmont I had never been through. The idea of us having this program, I think, is absolutely wonderful. I wish more people would come out. And my favorite part is that I read slower and shorter pieces deliberately, because there are many people in our village who do not speak the English language as their first language. And we have many people who are even my senior. And therefore, I want to make sure that we reach these people also. And the children who don't speak English as a first language, they can still come and do volunteer work, and gives them another way of learning English, of participating in a show like this, gives them a way to express themselves. And I'm speaking to all of you who don't speak English, come on out from the high school.
Well, we also have Spanish language programs on LMC TV. And unfortunately, I don't speak Spanish, so I can't say that in Spanish now, because what you just said should be said
But we
in
have
Spanish
other languages,
and perhaps another language.
not just Spanish. But for youngsters to learn English, it's so much easier when you are participating and you're doing something, a hands-on project. It's much, much more meaningful than looking in the textbook, you know. And
But
so I push that.
I'd also like to go back to something that you said before, that here it doesn't really matter how old you are. Because I think that's important. You have, and we mentioned already, you have very young people working with people who are older. And nobody asks about your age or whatever.
No,
it's not an
absolutely
issue.
You don't have to show Your
You
card.
No, I mean, you just do what you have to do, and everybody works with each other, and it's a very nice and relationship, and there's a lot of harmony, and I think that's important. That's probably one of the reasons why this news show has continued to be on the air for almost 12 years now.
Right. I've been coming, see, I'm retired 9 years now, so 8 years I've been coming here. But the intergenerational aspect of the colleagues is very important, because sometimes you need to bounce something off of someone. And if you are 25, bouncing off a 15-year-old isn't going to do it. It's much easier or better for you to bounce it off a 55-year-old or a 60-year-old or a 75-year-old, you know. And it's also because there are many aspects of it, as you say, behind the camera, in front of the camera, everyone can do it. I'm getting carpal tunnel in my hands now, but I can still talk.
And everyone who wants to do it should come on a
Thursday night at 7 o'clock.
We're in the Palmer Avenue
Studio, right
right across the street from Walter's Hot Dog Stand.
From Walter's Frankfurt.
And so come join us on a Thursday night. Thank you for joining us tonight, though. My name's Alicia Myro.
And I'm Sven Oehmer.
And I'm Glenna Gray.
Library budget gets the okay from voters.
Westchester County may not want us to use our cell phones while driving.
Good news for Beeline bus commuters.
Heating assistance is now available, and all you have to do is sign up.
And we'll have an update on IKEA, the county budget, and a special Christmas gift. Those stories and more coming up right here on this edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
Welcome to the Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News Show for the third week of December 2000. I'm Sven Oehmer.
And I'm Alicia Myro. Our top story. In the continuing saga of IKEA, now Mamaroneck villagers are getting into the fray. Village officials state that IKEA has underestimated the traffic backups on I-95 and the Hutchinson River Parkway, and the number of southbound drivers who will use the Mamaroneck Village and town streets to get to the store. The fear is that cars may exit onto Mamaroneck Avenue from highways to avoid traffic farther south, or use exit 22 off the Parkway in Scarsdale, and then travel down Old White Plains Road. IKEA has stated that 75% of traffic coming to the store will use I-95. They plan to post the directions on their website as well as on signs throughout the community to direct cars away from the neighboring streets. Mamaroneck Village Mayor Debbie Chapin stated that the village waited until now to file its complaint because they wanted to see what IKEA's environmental impact statement said. They also wanted to find out what the studies by the consultants hired by Mamaroneck Town and Larchmont discovered, and if there would be any effect to the village. The studies done by Larchmont and Mamaroneck Town found that IKEA had underestimated the traffic that would cross suburban streets in order to get to the store. IKEA's proposal to build a two-story, 308,000 square foot furniture store and about 1,500 parking spaces south of Fifth Avenue on the Mamaroneck border has caused a great deal of controversy in our area. As always, stay tuned to Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News for the latest details.
Well, we'll be hearing a lot more about that
Each week,
next
I
year,
believe.
I guess, in the following weeks. A teacher at Rhine-Neck Middle School got into some pretty hot water this past week. For more, here's Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Glenna Gray.
Several parents in the Rhine-Neck School District are upset because the teacher distributed information on different careers, one of which was for prostitution. The handouts were copies from the November 20th issue of the New York Magazine. The article discussed several aspects of the trade and the cost for various experiences. According to the Journal News, one 12-year-old boy commented in class that, quote, bad words, unquote, had been used. And the teacher said not to worry about it. There were no strict guidelines on discipline in such cases, thereby allowing the district to handle each problem on a case-to-case basis. The teachers' union says the matter should be handled internally. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Glenna Gray.
Well, Westchester County may soon have a bill outlawing the use of cell phones while driving. The proposed bill was introduced in August and is now before the Board of Legislators Legislation Committee. The bill will be discussed by the committee first, and which could then decide to send the bill to the full board for review and ultimately a public hearing. Andrea Stewart Cousins, the chairperson of the committee, stated in the Journal News that the bill was close, but that the committee had concerns about whether the county would usurp the state's legal authority by instituting such a ban. The bill contains a clause that would nullify the county's law if the state adopted its own restrictions on cell phone use while driving.
As part of the process of adopting the Westchester County budget, it was up to the county legislature last week, and they adopted the budget for Westchester County for the year 2001 unanimously. Some changes were made to the budget proposal by Westchester County Executive Andrew Spano. The $1.2 billion budget will reduce the property tax levy by 5.15%. The Board of Legislators budget adds almost $2 million in new spending. The largest spending increase is for daycare. $1.4 million were added to Spano's proposal. Legislators increased revenue projections by $4 million, including a $1.5 million increase in the sales tax projections. This is lower than the more than $2.3 million that had been discussed earlier by the legislators. The administration had not shared such an optimistic view of the income from sales tax in 2001. County Executive Andrew Spano has already announced that he will sign the budget. Spano told the Journal News, quote, I'm not happy with everything, but I'm sure that they, the legislators, are not happy with everything either. It is a give and take process, end of quote.
Well, the results are in, and there will be no recount. I'm referring, of course, to the Mamaroneck Public Library's budget vote that took place last week in the village of Mamaroneck. For the final tally, here's Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Teresa DiRoberto.
The Mamaroneck Public Library budget was approved by voters this past week. The 2001 budget was approved by a vote of 170 yes votes to 51 no votes. Property owners will see their taxes rise by 2.4%. The tax rate will be $14.60 per $1,000 of assessed valuation of their property. The spending increase for the 2001 budget is mainly an effort by the Mamaroneck Public Library to keep up with rising costs. Also on the docket for voters' approval was the election of 4 library board members. And the winners are Judith Dupree, Franco LaMonica, Henry Paracchini, and re-elected board president James Bellotta Jr. Members of the Mamaroneck Public Library Board serve 3-year terms and serve with no pay. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Teresa DiRoberto.
There's good news for commuters who use the Westchester B-Line bus service. Here with the details is Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Amy Schechtel.
Commuters who use the Westchester County B-Line buses will be happy to know that their bus fares will not go up. The bus fares will continue to be at the same price they were 3 years ago, $1.40 per ride. A healthy economy and a boost in sales tax revenue allowed the county to keep the bus fares frozen. Residents in the village of Larchmont and the town of Mamaroneck use buses that cover routes 70 and 71. The village of Mamaroneck uses buses on routes 61 and 66. Chairman of the Westchester County Board of Legislators, George Latimer, has long been a proponent of public transit and was quoted in the Sound in Town report saying that those who need public transportations to get to work, to school, or to shop will benefit from this decision. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Amy Schachtel. Let the good times roll.
Well, this time of the year really brings out the good in people, and the people at the United Methodist Church are no exception. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Christina Bolger finds out about a special kind of fundraiser in this interview.
Well, welcome, Sue. You are the lay leader at the Mamaroneck United Methodist Church, and although this you get involved through the church, the Heifer Project is something that's done around the world, not just in churches.
Absolutely. It's a program that supplies animals to poor families, needy families, often in third world countries, but also in this country, and helps them to take care of themselves, to learn to feed themselves. It's a fascinating project.
Now, a heifer, what can a heifer do for a family, and what would something like that cost?
Well, a heifer would require a $500 donation. And what that would do is it would provide a family with a heifer, but also would provide them with training, teach them how to take care of the animal and how to feed it. And so the Heifer Project International would go there and be with the family and explain it to them. And then they would be able to, the heifer would have a calf and would provide milk for the family. So that would increase their nutrition.
Right.
And also they're better sell spare milk and get money for health, for schooling, for improving their homes, because a lot of them live in shacks and things.
It also gives them an income to sell the milk.
And then going on from that, they have to pledge to the first female calf that their heifer has to be passed on to another family in the community. So it really becomes a strengthening thing for the entire community.
So they have to pledge that if they're belong or part of this project, they have to pledge that.
Absolutely,
so it's automatic that happens.
And then the next family would have to do the same thing. So it would be passed on from one family to the other.
Now, a heifer, $500, that's a lot of money. Are there other animals that these families need?
Oh, absolutely.
Chickens?
There's sheep, goats, llamas. For $20, you can buy
a flock of
chickens. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Also, honeybees, which I think is a great idea.
I saw that on the list. That's very interesting. Honeybees.
So, and also tree seedlings to help farmers build up their land and enrich it. So it's really a very exciting project. It's a self-help that families become reliant on themselves and not anyone else. It's not like a fast fix. It's a real lasting solution to poverty and to hunger.
That's a wonderful project. Can you tell our audience if they would like to get involved, or if they'd like to give $5 or $10? Is there a phone number that they could call? Or?
Well, certainly. At Mamaroneck Church, at the office there, you could speak to either the pastors, Pastor Linda or Pastor Chuck, and ask for information or say that you're interested. The telephone number is 698-4343, and I'm sure we're very pleased to hear from anybody who'd be interested to be part of this exciting project.
Well, thank you so much for coming in, Sue.
Okay, thank you very much.
The rules on pesticide spraying have changed. For the new ruling, here's Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Maura Carlin.
48 hours. That's the notice to be given to neighbors before spraying pesticides, according to the Westchester County Board of Legislators. The new law, which is expected to be signed by County Executive Andrew Spano, requires pesticide companies doing business in Westchester to give 48 hours notice to residents within 150 feet of where spraying will take place. Supporters of the new legislation say it's necessary to give residents ample time to take precautions to protect children, pets, and possessions from exposure to dangerous chemicals. But the law was not without opposition. Local landscapers complain that not only will they be overburdened, in some cases, they'll be put out of business. Now, this new law follows last August's enactment of a New York state law requiring that schools and daycare centers notify parents when pesticides are going to be sprayed on their grounds, and also gave counties the option to require resident notification, as Westchester has now done. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Maura Carlin.
The town of Mamaroneck joins with the village of Mamaroneck in trying to restrict out-of-scale housing additions from getting out of control. Here with the details is Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Glenna Gray.
You familiar with the terms bulky home trend or McMansions? These are words to describe homes that were added onto and are now thought to be out of scale with the rest of the neighborhood. Over the past several years, due in part to economic reasons, people didn't move, they improved their homes. Some residents are concerned that the character of their neighborhoods are being compromised. Protecting open space has been a battle cry for many communities, and our town and two villages have been right there at the forefront. The village of Mamaroneck last month passed the Residential Floor Area Ratio Law. The law was designed to restrict the total floor areas allowed in new homes. In the Mamaroneck town, new homes are restricted from occupying more than 35% of a lot and can go no higher than 35 feet or 2.5 stories. The town currently has no residential floor area ratio. The town of Mamaroneck building director takes a more relaxed view. Mr. Campanetto was quoted in the Journal News saying, quote, that while he's seen some substantial home additions in the town, he didn't notice a trend towards larger homes. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Glenna Gray.
Heating bills are on the rise this winter with no end in sight. But there's a way to get help. For more, here's Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Teresa Dioproto.
Did you know that the Westchester Home Energy Assistance Program assisted over 11,000 households in paying their heating bills last winter? Almost $1 million in heating assistance was issued last year, and this season, experts are predicting an even colder winter. County officials are urging all low-income, elderly, and disabled people to sign up for heating assistance. Public assistance and food stamp recipients should contact their Social Services District office for a speedy application. All elderly, disabled, and SSI recipients can contact the Westchester County Office for the Aging at 665-5900. That's 665-5900. Other residents may apply by calling Westchester County Community Opportunities Program at 592-5600. That's 592-5600. Remember, you don't have to freeze this winter. There is help available. Simply call and sign up for the assistance. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Teresa DiRoberto.
The beloved Rabbi Irving Kozlow of the Westchester Jewish Center here in Mamaroneck has passed away. Here with the story is Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Sharon Levy.
Rabbi Irving Kozlow, a spiritual leader and retired rabbi of Westchester Jewish Center, died recently at 80 years old. Rabbi Kozlow helped Westchester Jewish Center Synagogue grow from 30 families to more than 500 families. Rabbi Kozlow graduated from Yeshiva University and the Rabbi Isaac Elkanan Theological Seminary. He earned his master's degree in education from New York University and a doctorate in sociology from Yeshiva University. Rabbi Kozlow has also been a longtime chaplain at Sing Sing Prison. Rabbi Kozlow was appointed as the chaplain at Sing Sing by Governor Thomas E. Dewey in 1950 and retired last year. From 1950 to 1963, he provided counseling and guidance to death row prisoners. Rabbi Kaslow witnessed 17 executions. He gave support and confidence to all prisoners. Rabbi Kaslow gave much of his time, energy, and efforts to Westchester Jewish Center over the years. Rabbi Kaslow will be remembered as a kind, honest man by all who knew him. And the congregants of Westchester Jewish Center will remember him as a strong Jewish leader. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Sharon Levy.
And we here at Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News would like to send our condolences to the Rabbi Kaslow's family as well. Paget's disease is a rare form of breast cancer that forms on the outside of the breast, on the areola and nipple. One of the biggest problems of this disease is that the symptoms seem harmless. It's frequently thought to be a skin inflammation or infection that can lead to misdiagnosis and delays in proper care. The symptoms include a persistent redness, oozing and crusting of the nipple, causing it to itch and burn, a sore on the nipple that will not heal, and usually only one breast is affected. If you think that you have these symptoms, see your doctor immediately. While the inflammation may look like dermatitis, your doctor should suspect cancer if the rash is only on one breast.
The Space Shuttle Endeavour has safely returned to Earth after its spectacular mission to the International Space Station Alpha. Most of the mission was carried live on LMC TV's Channel 73. When nothing else is scheduled, you frequently watch NASA's television program on our Channel 73. It includes updates from the space station, at times live video and audio from this permanent post in outer space, but also footage from previous shuttle flights and other video about NASA activities. Go check it out. It was pretty spectacular to watch it on.
I know, I really find that
LMC
fascinating.
TV, and
Sometimes there's, I mean, just the thought that, you know, there's space out there.
well, also, I don't know if you saw that, but the astronauts have new cameras that are integrated in their helmet. So
No, I
when they
haven't
were
seen
floating around working on the space station, you actually saw what they were doing.
Oh, that is fascinating. Technology, modern day. Well, there's a special gift coming December 25th this year, and it's not coming from Santa Claus. To fill us in, here's Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Amy Schachtel.
Mother Nature has prepared a special gift for us this December 25th, a partial solar eclipse of the sun, and it will take place around noontime Christmas Day. A solar eclipse is when the moon passes directly in front of the sun. This partial eclipse will not be as dramatic as a full solar eclipse. The moon will not completely block out the sun, but will give the sun a crescent shape. It's important for you to know that looking directly into the partial solar eclipse will damage your eyes. Please wear doctor-approved solar eclipse glasses and don't take any chances. Modern science tells us that there are no dangerous emissions or X-rays coming from the eclipse, but you should wear protective eyewear when viewing the event. So remember, on December 25th at high noon, there will be a partial solar eclipse. Let's just hope the weather is nice. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Amy Schachtel.
And that's it for this week's edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
If you want to see this news show again, you can. It's on every weekday night at 7 p.m. We record one show each week, and it's replayed on this channel, LMC TV Channel 71.
Or if you want to request to see it, you can. Call LMC TV after 4 in the afternoon during the week at 698-6808 and ask to see the news show. They'll try to put it on at a time that's convenient for you to watch.
And this reminder, this news program is an all-volunteer effort, and we could use a few more volunteers either behind the scenes or as a reporter. Or maybe you'd like to shoot video. Whatever the case, we need you.
In short, if you want to volunteer to help us put this program on, we have something for you to do. Stop by some Thursday night in the LMC TV studios and see how we do what we do.
The LMC TV studios are in the Mamaroneck High School, the Palmer Avenue side, just up the stairs across from the landmark Walter's hot dog stand. We get things started around 7 p.m. and we would love to see you.
Also, if you have any comments or suggestions or some video of an event that you would like us to put on this news show, bring it to the studio or write to us at Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, in care of LMC TV, 1 Library Lane, Mamaroneck, New York, 10543.
Thanks again for watching Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Sven Oehme.
And I'm Alicia Myra. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, this was our last show for the year.
Is it?
So,
Are
yeah.
we doing a show next week?